garden friends, I'm Tiffany and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to start our cucumbers from seed indoors for our second year. This is what I grew my plants in last year, but I no longer have the same amount because I put some strawberry plants in these and I'm going to grow them for us and my mom, but I'm not going to do nearly as much for us. So I will reserve just 2 containers for us, and then I usually use these for tomatoes. They're just like solo cups, and then I drilled some holes in the bottom for drainage. I think I'll do 1 seed per cup for my mom, and then if they all germinate, great, she can have all those. So I might put a couple extra in these in case they don't germinate. I have some backups, and since I thinned them out and they all survived, it is possible to do that. I just don't want to not give her 8 plants if she asked for 8 plants. And I might cut some off because it's way taller than these. So I went ahead, this is just to make sure my hand is like clean, it goes a lot faster, but I pre-moisten this with just water, and then you want to squeeze out, or just squeeze a handful, and there shouldn't be any excess water. It holds its shape, but then you can still do that. So that's what you're looking for. It's easier to have pre-moistened soil mix. Seeds like to float when you use dry soil. Actually, let me cut these first. Yes, maybe to the lines. I know that seems silly, but I'm just gonna use scissors. Whoop. Be totally fine, don't worry about that. So something like that. Actually, it wasn't even straight. It's gonna drive me nuts. A little bit better. Now it did lose some of its like strength on top, but it'll be fine. They don't look, you know, super cute, but it gets the job done. So now I'm gonna take my cup. Make sure you do have drainage holes if you do want to do these type of cups. The like 12-ounce Dixie cups. So you're gonna put the soil in there and lightly press down. And I'm not gonna go up too high. I'm gonna make it nice and level. So I'm probably about 1 inch or so below the rim. Okay, all the cups are filled. So again, this is the variety. It's good for pickling. That's what they look like. So again, for my mom's, I'm just going to not put one off to the side. I'm gonna put it in the dead middle. Like that. I'm not gonna push it down. So all of hers gets 1. And for mine, I'm trying to think, should I do just 2? And then there's like 2 extra plants? Because I had 100% germination last year, and I have good faith that that will happen again. So I did 2 seeds per container. Okay, now I'm just gonna take a handful and make sure that they are about 1 inch covered. You don't have to be exact. It could be like 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch. But you basically just want to leave a little lip for watering, like that. Okay, then we'll just water them in. And then I will cover these with saran wrap like I do all my other plants. Keeps that humidity in, keeps them nice and moist. When they germinate, you uncover them. And even if they're not all germinating, maybe like 80% of them is germinating, and there's still some that are under the soil, still uncover them, keep them moist. They will germinate even uncovered, but you don't want them to be germinating and sprouting and then covered, because that will create a fungal issue. They need airflow. Immediately put a fan on them when they germinate. I'll put them under my grow light for 16 hours on, and what is that, 8 hours off. These are inside, up in a room where it's nice and warm. Maybe for your instance, or your situation, you might need a heat mat. Since these do like warmth, they do like warm soil, even when they're outside. And then I will tell you how quickly these all germinate. So last year, most of them took 4 days. So I will see you in a matter of a few days. Hopefully this helps. And this is how they're doing. So all but one germinated. So what I'm gonna do is when I transplant the extra cucumbers from these 2 containers, I'll just put one in this one, and then I went ahead and got another one ready. And my cucumbers from last year, when I did this step, I believe they were only the cotyledons, which is these leaves. This is the true cucumber leaf. See, it looks a lot different. So I think I promised you guys that I would wait until they were a little bit bigger, because supposedly cucumbers don't like to be transplanted too many times. So I'm going to see if they can handle a transplant when they have a true leaf. I'm gonna fill up this cup just like before. Then I'm going to swap out this, because this is dry. And this is still seed starting mix. I would switch to potting soil at this step, but since I don't have to thin out the ones that are just 1 cucumber per cup, I want to make sure that like the soil is all the same. That way they all grow the same. Okay, and if you watch any of my videos on transplanting, I like to save all of my seedlings. And so what I do is I make sure they're all nice and watered before I do this. That way they're not thirsty and it doesn't stress them out. I make sure that the soil that they go into is moist. I do it fairly quickly, and then I make sure that I water them in afterward, because why not? Why not make sure they're not stressed? So I'm going to tease the outside, and then I'm going to gently lay it on its side, put my fingers like under the cotyledons so they just rest. I'm not holding on to those. And I'm gonna turn it upside down so my hand is flat on this container. Turn it upside down and let it fall out. Oh, look at those roots. So these are much further along, so we will see if they will handle this transplant. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just going to squeeze the outside corners and just gently tug them apart. And if a little bit of roots snap, that's okay, as long as the majority of the roots are intact. I like to work over a bowl, and I put 1 seedling just kind of in the soil. This is empty because the entire root ball came out. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of seed starting mix at the bottom, lower this down, put it at the same level and center it. And then now there's gonna be space all around it to put extra soil. You don't want any air pockets. You don't want to leave it like that. Fill this up with soil. And again, you can use potting mix. There'll be nutrients and a little bit fertilizer at that step. Seed starting mix really just doesn't have a whole lot in it. And there you go. Now you can water this in. I just have a little watering can. Give it a nice little drink. And then what I'll do is I'll use one of these new cups. I will make a little opening. Well, no, I can't do that because there's so much of a root ball now. I didn't really know what I was going to get into. tiniest bit at the bottom. And lower that down in there. Center it as best I can. Sorry if that was out of the shot. Like that. And it will stand back up when it gets the light. And then water that in, and I will do the exact same thing with these. So I will see you in a few days. Hopefully they make it through that transplant. And here we are 1 week later. So these two are the ones that I transplanted, and then those are the two square containers. The rest still look gorgeous, even though I didn't have to transplant them, but they're just doing great. They have lots of true leaves. So again, my theory is you absolutely can transplant your extra seedlings if you want to save all of them. So hopefully this helps you get to this stage of your cucumbers. Bye, garden friends.